Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody, what is going on? It's your boy Crypto Bobby. I hope you are having a great day, great night, wherever you are watching or listening in from today. Apologies for the Carlos Matos intro, but hey, it is what it is. We're getting started, we're getting rolling, and wanted to pop in today to talk a little about what's happening in Bitcoin, a little bit about what's happening in the rest of the market as well, and obviously answer as many of your questions as humanly possible because that's the way we roll. What's going on, Johnny? What's up, Eunice? Saul, Dale Thompson, what's up, brother? Mike Wick, Stefan, what's up, homie? Hope all is well. And yeah, like I said, wanted to pop in today. Bitcoin is just barely hanging out over $4,000. I think it's a somewhat important level, psychological level for us to see here, and definitely excited about seeing if it can hold. But being that this is crypto happy hour, any logical human being would go out and immediately put in a short on the market right now, because God knows every time I go live, that is the smart, intelligent, and good thing to do when it does come down to everything. But appreciate everybody taking the time. Brett, Stefan, appreciate it. Johnny just opened up my shorts. So, looking at things just like at a high level, macro level, there really hasn't been a whole lot of, I would say, like major crypto news recently. One thing that I think is relatively interesting that happened recently, I'll pop over to the block. So the VanEck Solid X Bitcoin ETF, the comments were published, and many of them were repeat comments. But if we go over here, the majority of the comments were actually negative. So people providing commentary and actually providing their opinion and essentially telling the SEC, hey, don't list this ETF. It's ridiculous. It's silly. There's a whole number of reasons. But if we go over, this is literally from the SEC's website. A couple of these comments, I think, just a lot of it is really like retread criticism of Bitcoin in my mind, stuff that I think that you'd like to see a little bit more just nuance behind it. Some of these arguments were fairly nuanced for sure, but something like this. So we have D. Barnwell, no idea who that is, but put in this comment on the 6th. I would like to voice my disapproval of this Bitcoin ETP and would like to ask the SEC to take a much longer time horizon to the wait and watch approach to see if Bitcoin is worthy of becoming a financial product with all the positives and drawdowns it entails. I have to disagree that based solely on the fact that the market is possibly ripe, then an ETP should be granted if this is a criterion, and if so, how is this measured? The true game changer is the underlying technology blockchain, not cryptocurrency, and to make inroads into this industry-changing technology, one does not need to have a financial product based on the cryptocurrency. Decline this ETP without hesitation. Now, this falls back on the tale as old as time argument, blockchain, not Bitcoin. And I think it's one of the silliest arguments out there. In my opinion, at least personally speaking, I think that with this argument, when you go down to the blockchain, not Bitcoin argument, it's what smart people or people who think they're really smart want to say to sound intellectual. and say, you know what, I want to be somewhat edgy and say, hey, you know, I like this blockchain thing has some merit, but whoa, this cryptocurrency thing is the Wild West. It's, you know, don't touch this thing. But, you know, blockchain, I heard, you know, maybe Amazon and maybe IBM and maybe, you know, JP Morgan and some of these other companies are touching blockchain, but whoa, if we're talking about Bitcoin. And I think that's really one of the great ways to tell if somebody, for the most part, has no clue what they're talking about, because you could say that they're, you know, that one does not need to have a financial product based on the cryptocurrency. And I'm not going to look at every single cryptocurrency here, but if we go to market cap, you know, Bitcoin has a $70 billion market capitalization right now. If you look at the funding space for enterprise blockchain technology, can anybody name a $5 to $10 billion company that is essentially a unicorn that is a blockchain technology that has nothing to do with the financial products behind it, but is solely building, you know, enterprise blockchain or private blockchain solution? It's kind of hard to do. And I think it's clear that the market does value the fact that there are financial products like Bitcoin, and they do serve a real use case. So I think it's I don't know. I think it's a bullshit argument. And I'm not saying that private blockchains, that there isn't a use case for them. I'm not like a big fan of them by any stretch. But when people say the whole blockchain, not Bitcoin, it's mostly bullshit in my opinion. So looking at some of these comments, good to see the beards coming back. Yeah, you know, so I think this is going to be, I'm going to try and grow a bull market beard now. I don't know if that's possible, but, you know, I shaved, as we see, you know, 7-day change. We've had some nice moves. Got KuCoin up. I don't know why the hell KuCoin's up 50%. I think it's because they're copying Binance. And I'll get into Binance too. I'll get into the Launchpad thing. I think that's a good thing to discuss. But there's been a lot of positive movements. Shout out to my Tezos bag, up 31%. Only need like a 3x now to break even. We'll get there. Cardano making some moves. Mainframe, Qdom. You know, a lot of things I think that are, you know, up a decent amount in the past 7 days. And from a 30-day perspective, you've had some nice runs there as well. Engine Coin still up 450%, which is outrageous. Raven Coin has crushed it. Huobi token's done pretty well. A lot of positive movements off the board, really specifically since I shaved my beard. And as I said before, you know, once I shaved my beard, you had to go all in. You had to go completely long, margin long, all the way, leveraged it, and you know, that turned out to be the final indicator. It doesn't matter what's in the charts; it's what's happening with my beard. Everybody knows that. So taking a look at some of these comments here as well. Shout out to everybody that is watching on What's Up, Dumb? Hope all is well, dude. Shout out to everybody watching on Twitch right now. Shout out to the folks watching on Periscope as well, and on YouTube there. So taking a look here at some of these questions. Bobby asks, can Bitcoin hold at 4K? BTC proceeds to dump. It has not dumped yet, at least on Coinbase. We are still above $4,000 on Coinbase. If it does dump, you can completely blame it on me. It's all on me right now. And I do think when you're looking at, it with what's happening with Bitcoin, some relative stability with Bitcoin is providing, in my opinion, an opportunity for some of these movements with altcoins. You know, if Bitcoin drops lower, you're going to see it's essentially it's basically been the same thing throughout friggin' history. But if we go to the weekly chart, Bitcoin has gone up for 5 straight weeks, and it's no coincidence that over the past 30 days, as Bitcoin has quietly gone up, what do we have here? I mean, nothing major, but Bitcoin's gone up about 10%, which is solid. But when you look at where it's come down from, obviously, whatever. But Bitcoin's gone up 10%. You've seen a lot of altcoins with bigger and bigger moves. Granted, if the same is true on the opposite end of the spectrum, if we see 5 straight weeks of Bitcoin going down, which we have in the past, you see altcoins getting crushed equally as much. Lincoln K, you're a nerd. Bobby, thank you so much, bro. I really do appreciate that for dropping that. Thanks very much for that. Very nice of you. So one thing we'll take a look at, we'll talk a little bit about, actually 2 things here. So the first, if you guys have not seen this, I tweeted this out, but shout out to Travis Kling, who is one of the fund managers I respect most in the industry. I've had him on the podcast before. He released with his fund this site. I will link to it here in basically all the comments there as well. So this is what they call the Valuation Depot, and they have a bunch of different, it's really just a compilation and collection of resources for looking at quantitative valuations of cryptocurrency, qualitative valuations, some compelling papers, and then some tools. So if you are interested in, if you are that is not a ref link, there's actually nothing to buy there. I wish it was a ref link. I wish I can make money off of it, trust me. But when you look at this, it's pretty interesting for a number of reasons. So if you have any spare time at all, if you like to dive into just crypto asset research, if you like to just form your own opinions, whatever it might be, you can go ahead and do so with this. So quantitative, obviously numbers focused, qualitative, more just kind of more, I would say, like long tail, kind of some of these strategies have been developed. I mean, you see some stuff from 2017, mid 2017 token economics for utility. I'm sure a lot of that we can look at that now with about 2 years, close to 2 years now. Probably a lot of that does not hold true, and we can learn some lessons from that, I'm sure. And then also these tools, I think, that are pretty awesome as well. There's the HODL waves chart, which is awesome. Coin metrics, if you haven't checked that out before. Bitcoin volatility too. And one of the things, as we're talking just about Bitcoin in general, is you can see the trend of Bitcoin volatility actually moving down pretty substantially, at least kind of throughout history, which I think is in some cases you would think about is a negative, but I think for most things and what Bitcoin is looking to become in the future, Bitcoin's volatility trending down over 30 days is actually pretty positive in many respects. So in addition to this, the one thing I'll talk about, I tweeted a little bit about this today, and happy to answer some questions on this. Happy to answer some questions on this as well from you guys. But I think what's happening with Binance, we've talked a little bit about it before, but what's happening with Binance right now is pretty interesting. Shout out to Arjun Balaji as well. If you guys don't follow him on Twitter, make sure you do so. Always has solid thoughts. Was chatting in a Telegram group with him and some other folks previously, and he had some really good thoughts on this, and I just kind of summarized off the top of my head some of my thoughts. But Binance Launchpad has been interesting because there's kind of been this little mini ICO comeback. You have the BitTorrent token, which is up 6x from its ICO or IEO or whatever we're calling it. We have Fetch, which was another Binance Launchpad product, and that is up about 2.5x. And then you have Seller, which went live yesterday, and I believe 35,000 people tried to buy Seller, and only 3,000 people were able to get into it. And it was trading, I think, before Binance somehow shut it down. It was trading OTC like 3 to 4x of what it ICO'd for. So it's been really interesting to see because Binance, the token itself, you've had to use the BNB token to participate in these Binance Launchpad token sales. The first one, the BitTorrent one, you could also use Tron, but when you've had to use these Binance tokens, these BNB tokens, it really creates, it essentially manufactures demand. It gives you a reason to buy a BNB token, provides a reason to do so, and pumps the price. And you could see that on the BNB charts as well. We could pull those up as well. But so it manufactures a demand for BNB in addition to a number of other ways that BNB creates demand for the token. But I do think that what's going to happen with this is going to continue. This train is going to continue with Binance for a while. You have the fact that basically everybody knows, for right now at least, they're going to continue to try to buy into these tokens and buy them at a discount, and buy them at a premium as quickly and as soon as they possibly can, because they've seen the returns that have happened in the past. It's essentially just recreating the original Ethereum-based ICO boom, which is pretty crazy to watch in general. I think it will continue to happen, honestly, until there is a Binance Launchpad that has negative returns. So if people continue to see 6x's and 2x's and 3x's or 4x's, why would you not take, I think the limit is $1,500, And of course, it's everybody but U.S. citizens. But why would you not take that $1,500 and you're basically, getting a free rent check if you put that in and you 2 or 3x that? It's pretty incredible. But people are going to continue to try to do that, and they're going to continue to oversubscribe these ICOs until you get to the point where there is an ICO or an ICO from the Binance Launchpad that does perform poorly. And I think the incentives are in place for Binance to ensure that there are positive returns for these ICO buyers. And that could mean a number of different things, but Binance is highly incented to make sure that there are positive returns for those ICO buyers. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, there are now a number of exchanges that are trying to copy this. You have Huobi, I think just released Huobi Prime. You have KuCoin releasing KuCoin Spotlight. You have Bittrex releasing their own versions of ICOs, or IEOs, which is definitely something to keep an eye on. And with that being said, I don't think any of these other exchanges will be able to match the level of success that Binance has. Because if you are a crypto project right now and you've seen what's happened with Binance and these Launchpad ICOs, you're going to go to them first, most likely. Binance is the largest crypto exchange right now. It's the most, I guess you would say, prestigious in some respects. And when you look at that, why would you go to KuCoin if you can be listed on Binance directly and also probably see some significant appreciation in your token price? You most likely wouldn't, right? Unless KuCoin literally pays you to do so, which I doubt they are. They're probably charging you to do so. So with all that being said, I think a lot of these other companies that are basically copying Binance are not going to see the level of success. And if you are interested in participating in those, I would just caution you or just tell you, obviously to be wary of that, because I think that if you're a project that is selecting between any of these exchanges, you're going to want to go with Binance and probably not some of the other alternative ones as well. And from there, when you're looking at, I think that whether or not you like what Binance is doing, it is pretty incredible. Whether or not you like what CZ is doing, it's pretty incredible that they're the ones consistently innovating and kind of driving forward, and then everybody else is left scrambling behind and playing copycat, which is funny to see. What's up, One Man Army? BNB is for Binance, but how is it listed elsewhere? Does it serve the same purpose? So right now, BNB is simply a utility or an ERC20 token. I believe still it's an ERC20 token. Let me pop this over. Still an ERC20 token. Jesus, this chart's ridiculous. This is the weekly chart, but Binance is up 200% against Bitcoin in the past 112 days, was up 215. But it's basically been on a moon mission ever since they started kind of announcing the launchpad work. And let's see, when did they announce? Trying to see. No. I can't see. Can't figure it out at that point in time. And Eunice says, why would another exchange list BNB? So, there are other exchanges that have BNB listed. It's an ERC20 token, so it's not necessarily difficult to list anywhere. If we pull up CoinMarketCap, we can see here, see which exchanges actually have BNB. There's a number of them. Any DEX could have BNB or any Ethereum DEX, but obviously the majority of the volume is on Binance. I have no idea what LBank is, but I'm sure it's P2P, B2B. Yeah, sure. Okay, sure. But Binance obviously has the majority of the volume. Kyber has a little bit. HitBTC is a little bit, but Bancor has a little bit as well. But yeah, vast majority of it is on Binance right now. What's up, BTC Sessions? What's going on, brother? I have no idea about the migration of their own blockchain. That's something I think there is, whether or not you like the multi-coin guys, they're big BNB bulls, and I think that's one of their big kind of thoughts on the thesis around investing in BNB is that transition to their own chain and some of the ways they're approaching that. So if you are interested in seeing, I think there's a little bit more details. They did like a full, let me pull it up. What do we got here? They did a full analysis on this like a month, 2 months ago. That's probably worth a read if you're interested in seeing. There's probably some other details out there as well. What's up, Russ Cole 89? Watched the new True Detective season 3. It was pretty good. Definitely better than season 2. Season 2 is awful. It was terrible. Season 1 was epic. Season 1 of True Detective was fantastic. Season 2 is so bad. And then season 3 I thought was pretty good. Pretty solid. Oh, what's up, Nema? Hope all is well. Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate the super chat. If anybody has anything that they absolutely must have answered, throw it in the super chat and we'll get to it. But other than that, try and get to as many questions as possible. But thank you so much for that. Hope you're having a good one. Cyrus of the Lambs, what's going on from Periscope, dude? And what's up, Russ Cole on Twitch, obviously. But do you think LTC will do significantly higher, or will go significantly higher due to the halving in August? We can pull up LTC here as well. I mean, a lot of altcoins, and LTC is definitely one of them. Litecoin is certainly one of them. But a lot of altcoins really kind of bottomed out in early December, like November, early December, and have since kind of had a damn good move. You could see whether it's Litecoin or if you go to Onchain FX and we go to the time since low, the cycle low that they had, which is one of my, we'll change the assets up a little bit here. We'll move small caps out, but large and medium caps. The cycle low for a lot of these assets, for most of them, I'd say was 3 months ago. If you see the comparison here between, let's see, we have 56 large to medium cap cryptocurrencies, and the cycle low, not kind of basically the cycle low. I've talked about this a little bit before, but let me pull up the exact definition that they give. So it's the cycle low from the US, or cycle low USD, and what it is, it's the number of days that has passed since the asset had, what's it called? It's cycle low trading price versus the USD. And for the vast majority of, I would say, large to mid cap cryptocurrencies, that was actually between 4 to 3 months ago. So you're looking at like between December and January for the most part. But you have, what do we have? 49 to, yeah. So I would say the vast majority, only a few have cycled out or bottomed out in the past month or so. Only 12 out of about 55 have bottomed out recently, or only 12 out of 50. And the only two that have done that that have had a cycle low longer than 4 months ago was Ripple and Chainlink, and Chainlink basically defied odds against the entire bear market and really crushed it kind of out of nowhere. Dale Thomas, did I catch the Novogratz interview? Yes, I did. I watched about, I would say, half of it. The Novogratz interview with Pomp today. He live streamed it on his Periscope. I thought that was pretty solid. Pomp is one of the best interviewers in the space. I mean, if his career at Morgan Creek Digital, if that ever goes up, I think he could be a professional interviewer, because he is pretty damn good with his podcast. It's one of my favorite listens for sure. And taking a look, only idiots watch True Detective after season 1. That's a season 2 I stopped watching midway through, but I gave season 3 a shot. I would highly recommend giving season 3 a shot. It was very similar to season 1. It was awesome. Mahershala Ali was great. It was a good season. The ending was a little bit. I thought the ending was a little lackluster, but season 3 was dope. Looks like a long way down. Well, if we zoom out here, actually no. Against Bitcoin, it's not too bad. For Litecoin, it's not terrible. It's all the USD as well. I mean, so it's only Litecoin's only down 40% versus his Bitcoin top. Where if you look at ETH, I think it's down much worse from that. ETH to BTC is down, yeah. Well, that's not real. What do we got? From the top in the ICO, speaking of ICO booms, and recreating the ICO boom with BNB, ETH is down about 80% from its all-time high against Bitcoin. So yeah, ETH has gotten worked pretty good. I'm pretty heavy ETH right now. Yeah, I've been pretty heavy ETH. I still think that ETH has some room to run up, and it's kind of been consolidating for a while. So I'm kind of a YOLO long ETH. Is there a recording somewhere of Pomp's interview? I'm assuming that's what we're referring here. So let's pull that bad boy up. I'll link to it here if you haven't seen it yet. Where's my guy? Here we are. So commented there with the link of Pomp's interview as well. Did I forget to pay my power bill? No, I didn't. That's a green screen, brother. That would be a green screen. Shocker, right? Eunice, ETH, double-digit shitcoin. I don't know. I don't want to say the market's bottomed out right now at all, because all it takes is one piece of shitty news or something like that for Bitcoin to go down $500 and for ETH to go down $40 and the rest of the market to just dive off a cliff. But I do feel like we've established somewhat of a decent, Bitcoin itself has established somewhat of a decent base in the 35 in the mid 3,000 range. If that number breaks again, yeah, ETH is a double-digit shitcoin. But outside of that, I feel fairly confident with longs on ETH right now. Still 50-50 BTC ETH split in your portfolio. Yeah, that's about right at this point in time. Hey, Bobby, what projects have your attention right now? BTC. Hold on, let me check at Bitcoin Private. Where's Bitcoin Private? What's it pumping on? $7 in volume? What do we got? Woo! It's pumping on 67K in volume. That's a sexy chart. Look at that thing. This shit's on life support. This is, when I look at the chart right now, it's just like, or what else do we have? What other good sounds we have? Oh, this is the sound for this chart. When you look at Bitcoin Private and you think about everything Bitcoin Private's been through, it's this. No, I don't even think the sounds are coming through. Let's make sure. Give me a second here. Here's Bitcoin Private. It's rough days for Bitcoin Private. Looking at some more of these questions. BTC gonna tank now? It's held up so far. Thinking about Cardano hitting Coinbase, I do think Cardano is my guess would be it's probably next. I think that there's still maybe a little bit more time there, but I would not doubt if Cardano's next. That would be my bet. It's also Cardano's performed pretty well recently. What do we got if we pop over? Cardano against Bitcoin is wrecked. I mean, speaking of something that's gotten worked, Cardano is like the ultimate. It's down 85% against Bitcoin, which is down, again, 60, 70, whatever percent. But if we zoom in a little bit, it's performed pretty well recently. It's definitely seems like it's bottomed out again in early December. It's up from its bottom against Bitcoin about 50% in the past few days. Cardano is up. What do we got? About 20%, and I think they just launched, was it version like 1.5 or something like that? So, I think Cardano is kind of quietly building up a little bit of steam, and I've seen a lot of people, at least recently, starting to bang that drum, posting the Cardano charts all over the place, saying if it breaks 1,400 satoshis, it's got room to run way, way, way higher. So that might be the number to watch at this point in time. I've also seen. I don't know. That would be my thought process. I think that it could continue to build some momentum. I wouldn't doubt Cardano. It hasn't necessarily pumped as hard as some of the other ones from the bottom, but it's done well. Yeah, 1.5 Nostradamus effect. I catch the ADA in the name, all capitalized. I got you. One moron. Thank you. You're the Jim Cramer of crypto. I would consider my hair to be way better than Jim Cramer's. And if you argue that, I would say you're absolutely 100% totally wrong. I think that's just a fact. My hair is way better than Jim Cramer's. JJ63380934 says, I had to sell my house because I invested in cryptocurrencies. I went broke. Well, if you followed what anybody with half a brain said in just any point in time, don't invest more than you can afford to lose. Maybe dollar cost average your way in. Don't buy on credit. Don't go into debt to buy cryptocurrency. You might have been okay. But my pity for you coming in here and saying, I had to sell my house because I invested in cryptocurrencies and I took a loan of $500,000 and invested and lost it all. You would have lost your money elsewhere at some point in time. You would have fucking invested in Chuck E. Cheese coins or some shit like that. That ain't my problem, brother. What's your take on CZ trying to add credit card-based purchases of coins? Dangerous. For me personally, I would never buy cryptocurrency with a credit card. The fees are a lot higher. I don't know. Why would you? So there's 2 points to that. Number one, you should never, in my personal opinion, you should never go into debt to buy cryptocurrency, because it is highly volatile and like our good friend here. I bought Bitcoin at $21,000. Bitcoin didn't go to $21,000, so that's trying this in a borrowed phone. So like our good friend JJ with a lot of numbers here, if you go into, let's say you borrow $500,000, you take a line of credit outside of your house and you borrow $500,000 and which is essentially the same thing you would do on a credit card, just smaller numbers most likely, and you buy a bunch of Bitcoin at $20,000 or $19,000, Bitcoin now goes down to $3,000 or $4,000, and not only do you still owe that $500,000, but that $500,000 that you borrowed in Bitcoin is now worth whatever, 60, 70 grand. So you're down $430,000 and you are in the hole significantly. Yes, there have been people in the past that have purchased, Bitcoin and done things on credit cards in 2015, 16, 2012, 13, whatever. But those people were either early, lucky, whatever you want to say. I mean, I don't typically say people who are early or lucky that got into cryptocurrency. They had their heads, they had their heads on straight. They were looking out for an opportunity. They took a chance, whatever it might be. But that's an unnecessary chance. If you have cash sitting in the bank account, if you have a small amount of your personal net worth and you want to deploy that in a cryptocurrency, go ahead and do so. But if you're taking money that you don't have and trying to buy a moonshot with it and you get wrecked, that's on you. And for certain people that might be doing that with credit cards, I think that's a bad look, especially when you're talking about credit cards that have like 20-25% APR. Not only are you going to get wrecked, potentially you're going to owe compounding interest on that. You're never going to pay that credit card off. You're going to get yourself in debt. You're going to screw up your credit. A lot of bad things. I wouldn't purchase crypto with a credit card. That's me. So Randall McMurphy, I mean, yes, that's a point for sure. $500,000 in Litecoin mid-December, you'd have 1.5 million now. Pay back to 500K and get 800K in profit. I mean, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. But we're also cherry picking timeframes. So I mean, if you say, let's say you wanted to take that $500,000 in May and buy Litecoin with it, that $500,000 is now worth you're down 67% from May, even with where things are right now. So that $500,000 is worth like 200K. So there are incredible risks there, in my opinion, not worth it at all. If you want to do that, go ahead. That's certainly the prerogative of the investor. But as a certified financial professional, I'm not your financial advisor. I'm kidding when I say certified, but I think that that's just something that I could never advise anybody or think would be a smart thing to do ever. And then of course people can say like you can kind of cherry pick times or whatever, and you could cherry pick any data in the world. It's data. That's what happens. But I've seen tweets today being like, "Oh, you're a pussy if you don't buy with a credit card," or just get cash, make money and get cash and do it with money that you don't have to lose because you owe somebody. I don't know. I just wouldn't do that. It's one thing to lose your own cash. It's another thing to take out money from a bank and then owe that money to the bank and have that directly potentially screw up the rest of your life. Can't get wrecked if it's your mom's credit card that you stole from her purse. Well, congrats on having parents with a credit card. Sounds like sound financial advice and a good way for your mother to disown you. BTC on Coinbase is now 40.20. We got 420 right now. Congrats to all the potheads out there. Close to it at least. So about to take one more question here. If you're watching right now, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, the like button. Helps to get this video out if you're watching on YouTube to as many people as possible. If you're on Twitch as well, make sure you subscribe to the channel on Twitch. Shout out to everybody who does that. Helps me grow there. Just started streaming on Twitch. If you like watching there, would definitely appreciate you joining me there too. What do you think about Maker raising interest rates? Good question. This is something that Maker has raised the stability fee, which is essentially the interest rate, and relatively important because when you look at what do we got? So where's DAI has lost its peg a few separate times. So DAI is the decentralized dollar. Essentially, it's the decentralized stablecoin. The other stablecoins out there with DAI are typically dollar-backed. DAI is more of a over-collateralized stablecoin. People collateralize that with Ethereum, and DAI has lost its peg a few separate times where it's gone under $1 somewhat slightly. It's been fairly successful in the past where it's been kind of pretty closely pegged to $1. But early in March, it went from about $1 down to 98 cents. And Maker raised the stability fee that is charged to open up a CDP, a collateralized deposition, basically take out a loan, rebounded, and now this same thing is happening again. So word on the street is Maker is going to raise that potentially again, I believe. I think it's interesting because it plays on a number of different incentives. Like if it costs whatever it might be 3, 4, 5% to open up a CDP, not as appealing as it was to basically take out a CDP when that was under 1%. I mean, that was essentially free money at that point in time. Now you're talking about some real costs for that. Still a lot cheaper than the alternatives out there, but at the same point in time, and shout out to some of the companies out there like Dharma that are offering. If you haven't seen, this is pretty. I'll pull this bad boy up. So Dharma offers Dharma is offering loans right now, or the ability to take out money with Dharma Lever. I don't have this integrated. I don't have this account integrated right now with it, or this Brave integrated with it. But you can borrow ETH and DAI, and you can borrow money for 28 days at 0.1%. So it's essentially free to borrow ETH or DAI. You have to put up collateral, but you can borrow about $25,000. You can borrow $25,000 with Dharma in DAI, and you have to over collateralize that with ETH. It has to be collateralized at a minimum of 125%. But if you do that, if you have a bunch of ETH or if you have something else and you want to take out money in DAI, you need it for 28 days, whatever it might be. You want to do a 28-day trade, you can borrow that. Essentially, I mean, the interest rate you see here is 0.1%. So it's the cheapest you're going to see. It's kind of what they're doing to try and gain some traction. And yeah, it's pretty incredible. How was my St. Patrick's Day? I was in Mont Tremblant, Quebec, and yeah, so I was there. I was skiing. It was good. It was good. Skiing weather wasn't great, but it was good. Bat Maximalist, what's up, Bat Maximalist on Twitch? You should verify your Twitch channel on Brave so I can tip you Bat on here on Twitch. That would be awesome. I will definitely do that. After I get off here, I will do that for sure. Celsius is another alternative, and so I'll pull this bad boy up. But there was a lot of hubbub, a lot of people freaking out about this freaking out about BlockFi and BlockFi's interest-bearing accounts. And I said before, and I talked a little bit about this, but like, just because you either don't understand something or don't want to put money into it doesn't mean it's a scam. Also, if there are risks associated with something that are published and well documented, doesn't also mean it's a scam. There's definitely risks with this, but apparently people are happy to go forward with those risks because if you guys remember 2 weeks ago, BlockFi, which is a crypto lending platform, put out some information about essentially an interest account where you provide them your Bitcoin or your Ethereum and you get paid interest on a monthly basis. It's estimated to be about 6% APR, so 6% annually that gets paid out on a monthly basis. And they got $25 million in deposits in 2 weeks, which is pretty impressive. So I think that, while I am by no means advocating to provide your Bitcoin to somebody else or to your Ethereum to somebody else, but if you're trying to earn interest on these assets, it is something that's relatively interesting for some people, and that it's pretty clear with $25 million that there is a market for that. Guys, at this point in time, I am going to go ahead and start cooking dinner. I have some steak that I'm cooking up tonight, so I think I'm making steak with chimichurri. So if you're really interested in what's happening in the Crypto Bobby Casa this evening, we're making steak. So I'm gonna get started with that because by the time I'm done with that, it's gonna be like 7:30, and I'm gonna be starving. But really do appreciate everybody's time tonight. Thank you to everybody who tuned in on Twitch, on Periscope, on YouTube as well. Always a pleasure talking with you guys. If you're on YouTube right now, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel by any chance, make sure to hit the subscribe and the notify bell. And if you are on Twitch, make sure you hit the subscribe, and shout out to everybody on Periscope /Twitter as well. Take it easy, everybody. Peace.